So I want to reflect on two contrasting images at the top. Infrastructure collapsing, as you saw, even as religious polarization continues. Is Karnataka caught in religious tangles, and is this in a sense symbolic of what's happening in some other parts? What really matters to you as or us as citizens, Vikas or identity politics? Those are some of the questions I want to raise. Mohandas Pai is someone who's been a face of Bengaluru for years, raises these civic issues from time to time. I'm joined by Katyani Chamraj. She's executive trustee at Civic Bengaluru. Aishwarya Mahadev is Congress spokesperson, and Mohan Vishwa is BJP spokesperson. But I want to come to you, Mohandas Pai, first, because here you are seeing two different images. My top story, Idgah Maidan, whether Ganesh Puja should take place or not, battle goes to the Supreme Court. And on the ground, what is happening in Bengaluru? The city seems to be collapsing because of rainfall. Is this a case of misplaced priorities? Is there an attempt to sort of find religious issues that polarize people and distract people from the real issues, which is collapsing infrastructure?
You know, Radhdeep, there are two different issues. I don't think we should link them. Please remember, the Ganesh Chaturthi Chamarajnagar property issue has been going on for some time in the courts, and only today read the Supreme Court. Supreme Court gave a decision, whatever it is. I don't think we should link. This has happened because of heavy rain. The basic problem in Bangalore is the breakdown of governance in the city. We have a city corporation which is ineffective, which has been captured by the real estate mafia consisting of the corporators, where there are MLAs in their particular area who are extorting money, who are not bothered. We are not then, contractors have not been paid for 2 years for work done, and there are allegations that huge bribes are being taken. Bangalore has been mismanaged for the last 15, 20 years. I've spoken to 5 chief ministers of Bangalore for the last 20 years to improve. Everybody has said yes. Everybody has spent money, but where has the money gone? The money has been eaten away largely. Even today we continue to suffer. There has been no improvement in the quality of life for the last 20 years. The BBMP, which is the corporation, is ineffective. There have been demands to break it up into 5 corporations, the full-time mayor. We have a mayor who is there for 1 year, a ceremonial post. The BBMP has no powers. It's a disgrace. India's global city, India's best city known globally, is suffering its worst crisis and is only getting worse. Go to the chief minister.
But I don't,
yes.
The priorities. The reason why I link the two stories is the priorities. The messaging that comes out of Karnataka's government seems to be to focus at times on religious issues, whether it be a hijab ban, whether it be this Idgah Maidan controversy, instead of the real crisis of civic infrastructure.
Radhdeep, civic infrastructure is a running sore for 20 years. It's not come yesterday, today. It's not come in this government. It was there in the Congress government. It was the JDS government. It's been in all government for 20 years. You know the story in Bangalore. All right? We have a metro which is running beyond schedule. Nobody knows when they're going to install anything. We have a metro which is spending 35,000 crores without a proper project management system. We have a metro run by bureaucrats who probably don't know their job. And look at the Delhi metro, which has been effectively done. Money is being spent, and the chief minister promises to give money, he has given money, but is not able to implement on the ground.
So what happens to your status as an IT capital? You are supposed to be India's global city, and
yes.
In a global city, you are seeing either potholes or flooding taking place almost routinely now.
Radhdeep, it is a shame for India. It is a shame for our government in Delhi. It is a shame for our government in Karnataka. It is a shame for our BBMP that they let down the people of Bangalore who are trying to best to build a great city and bring up India. It's like Bombay. Even your city of Bombay has run down. Well, anything wrong with Bombay is governance and corruption, right? Deep corruption in Bombay, deep corruption in Bangalore. There is no governance in our cities. That's a challenge all across India. And we all have to get together to improve the governance. The only effective way is to have better governance, reduce the impact of corruption, reduce the hold of the mafias, real estate mafia, the corporate and others who are trying to make money here, and improve the justice system to put them in jail. Radhdeep, our sewage, our road cleaning contract has not been done for the last many years. People are captured there, they've gone to court, there's a stay, and the city is dirty. Money is being spent, but nobody knows where the money goes.
Right.
It's a national disgrace, Radhdeep.
You're saying it's a national disgrace. Katyani Chamraj, as is being suggested here by Mohandas Pai, it's gone on for the last 20 years. what we saw in Mumbai, and Mumbai also continues to reel under poor urban governance. We are seeing in Bangalore almost being duplicated and, if anything, worsened. Do you see any improvement at all? Do you believe the political class of Karnataka has let the people of Bengaluru down, as I would argue the Maharashtra politicians have let the people of Mumbai down?
Absolutely. I think there is a connection between the religious polarization that is happening and also the breakdown of infrastructure in Bengaluru. And
what's the connection? What's the connection? What's the connection? You're saying there's a connection between religious polarization and a breakdown of urban governance?
Because they're totally involved in polarizing the society and in raking up issues which are non-issues, and they're completely ignoring the actual developmental needs of the cities, and there is complete breakdown of governance. So what you see, the flooding that is happening is because of the total breakdown of the planning process in Bengaluru. The planning process is only on paper, and the encroachments are being allowed indiscriminately, which is leading to, Raja Kaluways and the lake beds and the stormwater drains all being encroached, and that is why we are having this flooding.
In a way, what you're saying is what I've heard for years in Mumbai as well. Mohan Vishwa, it almost seems to me, you're the BJP spokesperson, your party is in power, that what we saw in Mumbai happen over the years has happened in Bengaluru. The real estate mafias take over. They get support from netas, they get support from local bureaucrats, lots of money is to be made out of it. And to distract people in Mumbai, we saw identity politics played, Marathi Manus politics played. And in Karnataka, we are now seeing religious politics also being played out, when the priority of the government should be to first fix urban governance. I don't think the people of Bengaluru are as worried about whether Ganesh Chaturthi takes place or hijab bans happen. They want first better civic amenities. That should be the priority, Mohan Vishwa, of any government in the 21st century.
See, Rajdeep, I don't know why you are comparing the both. Who started all these religious issues? Who started hijab? It was the Congress youth team first, which went to the Udupi college, and they were the one who started. Later, SDPI was the one who supported them and filed the petition. It was them who started. Post that even Azan issue also, there was an earlier circular which was not followed. Our government just implemented it. And regarding this Savarkar issue also, who started? It was Mr. Siddaramaiah who went to Shimoga. He was the one who said why Savarkar poster should be put in a minority area. Then he went to Coorg to talk about Tippu Sultan, even after knowing the fact that Tippu was not at all entertained by Coorg people. So they were the one who started. We have not started anything. We are not focusing anything on religious
what happened
issues
to your
like
smart?
MD Pai.
What happened? You can't use it as an excuse for failing to deliver on your smart city commitments. You had made various commitments. And at the end of the day, contractors are now claiming in Bengaluru they have to pay a 40% commission. So you have to pay a 40% commission.
What do you have? You take Congress, starting from this national leader to state leader, the same allegation was made by Mr. Rahul Gandhi in the case of Rafael. Supreme Court slapped the Congress to the core. And the same allegation was made in the case of Pegasus. There was no basic evidence for the claim.
Contractors Association in Karnataka, sir, Mohan, Contractors Association has claimed that there is a 40% commission on all projects. We have seen in Bengaluru, as Mohan Das Pai said, there are cost overruns, projects timings are not being met. Instead of focusing on smart cities, urban governance, far too many extraneous issues get far too much importance. Maybe in the media, but maybe also in government.
See, Rajdeep, Bangalore BBMP recently, Mr. Basraj Bommai allotted 6,500 crores for 28 assembly constituencies. One thing in our government is, it's unfortunate that the average rainfall of Karnataka was 950 millimeters, but from past 4-5 months we have experienced more than 1,000 millimeters. That too, Bangalore has the highest rain affected place, okay? And lot of back-to-back infrastructure projects have been taken up in Bangalore city. And one more thing I will tell you, I was talking to one of the BBMP engineers. He said the average temperature of Bangalore have not crossed 23 degrees from past 8 to 9 months, which is leading to certain technical issues, okay? It's not that we are sitting idle or we are not doing anything.
Okay, but the fact, Mohan Das Pai, okay, 1 minute more. Okay, Mohandas Pai, you're nodding your head. Before I come to Aishwarya, yes, you want, yes.
Radip, roads are built in cold weather in England, in the United States where there is snow. I don't know what this chief engineer talks through his head. If you don't put enough tar in the road will cave in. If you do not have a proper slope on the road, water will stand. That is the problem. It is shoddy work, bad work, corrupt work. That is what is happening. There is no supervision. There is no project management. I don't want this person to give excuses.
Okay.
There is a failure of governance. There is a lot of corruption in the city. It must be stopped. This is a governance issue. It must be stopped. It's got nothing to do with religious polarization as far as city of Bangalore is concerned.
Right.
So let us not link the two. There is corruption, bad governance. Yes, Chief Minister Bommai has given money. He is trying his best. He is new to the job. And there are no allegations of corruption against him. He is a clean person. But we have a legacy. It must be clean.
Can I bring in Aishwarya Mahadev? Because, you know, Aishwarya, we can go on blaming each. Bengaluru's problems have been built over the last 20 years. S.M. Krishna was your chief minister at the turn of the century. He spoke about making Bengaluru this globalized city. But urban governance is critical to build a globalized city. You want to build a globalized city, and yet you get tied up in the kind of religiously polarizing issues. I recall Kiran Majumdar-Shaw making this point a few months ago when the entire issues over Azan, over whether Muslim traders will be allowed to ply their trade outside religious festivals took place. Karnataka's image is taking a huge beating at the moment, and that leaves the entire question mark as to whether there is any government committed to urban governance.
Good evening, Rajdeep. Before I answer exactly what you said, in 2018, the BJP put out a manifesto where they promised a few certain things. One of them was something, the 24/7 anti-corruption helpline, where if you see any act of corruption, then, you should call the government and the government will take action. Thank God for the BJP that they never implemented it, because the phone line would be ringing off the hook because of the sort of excesses and the sort of corruption and graft in my state today. Along with that same anti-corruption helpline, they spoke about having, an exclusive act just for Bangalore city, just for Bangalore infrastructure. They made massive promises on whether it was the steel flyover or whether it was the railway network. And you've seen exactly what has happened today. Instead of development, you're seeing thousands and thousands of crores going into corruption. You're seeing a KPTCL scam, a PSI scam. You see teachers, 13,000 school, members of 13,000 schools in Bangalore have alleged corruption. The BBMP goes 10% ahead and says it's not 40%, it's 50%. And that is the reality of my state today, Rajdeep.
Aishwarya, some of these commission charges were made when Mr. Siddaramaiah was also chief minister. It's not as if Karnataka's politics only changed in 2018.
Rajdeep, let me tell you, for as much as Mr. Modi came and spoke about a 10% government and whatnot, you have not seen the BJP even come out and have half as much courage to say they are not as corrupt as the government. Mohan Vishwa can laugh, yes, but what is more funny and what is pitiable is the fact that the BJP cannot govern itself today whatsoever, and this is the state of infrastructure in my state. And if you look at Chandpatna, where the highway authority is building that much touted Bangalore-Mysore highway, that is only Pratap Singha's only singular achievement as being a parliamentarian. You've seen thousands of crores of loss and the government is doing nothing. And today, Rajdeep, I will come down to the most essential fact. Why are they playing into these ideas of century-old established practices of religious places, or even causing this entire idea of a communal divide? Is because they have learned from the playbook itself. Is when you have no development, you go on those base common feelings or those emotive agendas, and that is what is happening today. It is an us versus them narrative. So much so that youngsters are cannon fodder today, Rajdeep.
Even as we are speaking at the moment, Mohan Vishwa, and we started the show with the Idgah Maidan controversy in Bengaluru. Now the controversy has spread to Hubli, where it's existed for a long time, where again we have the prospect tomorrow of Ganesh Chaturthi, Muslim and Hindu groups face to face coming in, and the Supreme Court having to step in. Now Karnataka government could have said status quo. The Karnataka government also appeared keen to try and somehow or the other make this, push the idea that allow Ganesh Chaturthi celebrations to take place on the Idgah Maidan. Now these are all sensitive issues. My point is, these issues need to be settled between the religious groups. The government's job should be governance, which includes first fixing urban infrastructure. I am only talking of priorities. Would you concede that the top priority of a government should be to fix the urban infrastructure?
See, Rajdeep, that's what, when I was continuing my talk, just cut in between. See, there were certain natural issues, I do agree, okay? As far as I said, there was a heavy rainfall, a lot of infrastructure practices or the projects have been taking place in Bangalore, rather other parts of the state also, okay? So it's not that we are not doing anything. We are spending enough money. We are taking care of every infrastructure project. And, when Congress spokesperson said about ACB, I don't know what to say. Mr. Siddaramaiah was the one when he came to power in 2013, who took the nail and teeth of Lokayukta just for the sake of enjoying corruption in his government. Now it's our government based on High Court direction who are strengthening Lokayukta. Come on, in case of 40% corruption also, openly I'm challenging even now, if that contract association president have a gut, let him go to Lokayukta. Who is Mr. Siddaramaiah? Is Siddaramaiah a Lokayukta jet? Is Siddaramaiah a session jet? Or is Siddaramaiah a criminal court jet? Or is he a Supreme Court jet?
Okay, let me just bring down the volume for a moment. No cross talk, but I want to understand this. Ma'am, you've been in the field, Ms. Chamar, for years. You and your organizations. Are you seeing any change, Katyani Chamar? Are you seeing more responses from your corporators, or are the corporators in Bengaluru completely disconnected from these issues? They just want to make sure when they are in power how to make a quick buck. It's not about trying to give back and invest in the future of Bengaluru.
Absolutely. And also the state government trying to catch hold of total control over Bengaluru's finances and revenues. So they are not allowing the local government to function well also. They are not giving them the finances or the functionaries to perform well, because the MLAs want to keep Bengaluru under their charge. So the BJP spokesperson said that 6,000 crores is being given to Bengaluru. But if 40% of that is going away as commission, what kind of infrastructure are they going to provide to us?
Okay, this 40% figure of commission is sticking in people's mind. Mohandas Pai, let's come to where we started off. I started off by saying there are these emotive issues like the Idgah Maidan, and that calls for a separate debate whether Ganesh Puja should be allowed on a place where Eid is allowed. Is it a public land? These are all issues that courts will have to eventually take a call on, not on the last day before Ganesh Chaturthi, but well in advance. But the larger question is the messaging that goes on to the wider world. When you want to be a global city, you don't want to be caught in issues like hijab ban, azan, ban on Muslim traders. It sends out the wrong messaging to the wider world. The wider world wants to know, how are you a 21st century ready city? Not that when rainfall comes, there are potholes across the city.
Now, the bad infrastructure has been plaguing for Bangalore for more than 20 years. Every government we have had has been corrupt. They've been making money. And I like this, both these party spokesmen pointing fingers at each other, because both have been corrupt. They make the money through these corporators, through the projects. Now, for the last 2 years, we are told that money has not been paid to contractors. Somebody should investigate what are the works for which they have made a bill for which has not been paid. Where are the works? And you'll find many of the works never exist. And that has been going on for a long period of time. To take a power connection, you have to pay a bribe in the earlier government. All government, let us not blame one government with the other. Both have been equally corrupt. The key thing is we have to fix the governance of Bangalore. Bangalore has had a bad track record of bad infrastructure the last many years. Our lives have got worse year after year after year. We do not see hope. Our metro, which is supposed to come, is been delayed. We have bad governance in the metro. We need action. And that is the only solution. Now, as far as all these events, that will continue. That is not going to go down, because political parties always raise emotional issues to get their votes.
I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that political parties raise emotional issues to get votes. I wish that political parties try to fight elections on who will solve the pothole problem. Yes, Aishwarya, I'll give you a final word.
Rajdeep, I think it's not only political parties that do talk about things about religion or divisive terms. A lot of Bangaloreans, and also very prolific ones, who I'm very sure Mr. Mohandas Pai himself, or maybe himself also know, is the fact that they also have made very disparaging and divisive statements over time. But once it starts affecting them personally, is when they come out and this civic consciousness kicks in. The fact of the matter today is my state is in an abysmal and pathetic situation. And the only thing the BJP has to offer you is a controversy of somebody's Maidan or what somebody wears or what the loudspeakers are playing or what you're eating or what is in your fridge. This is very reminiscent of something that happened in the state up north, and you saw the manner and the trajectory of those elections. But the Karnataka Congress is very fit and fine
Radhip.
to fight
Right.
against this on the agenda of
Radhip.
development.
Radhip,
And
I
I
want to
believe we're going to
respond.
fight
You
the
know,
government
Radhip,
on
that is fake.
corruption,
She
and
has,
that is
she has
reality.
hit you, Mohandas, a little where it hurts. She's saying, you know, your
Radhip,
civic
Radhip,
consciousness is
Radhip.
only coming out now. You should be
Radhip.
focusing on that instead of getting into
Radhip.
these religious tangles at times
Radhip.
yourself.
Radhip, I don't know who this person is. I can't see anybody on your.
She's
I don't
Aishwarya
have the
Mahadev.
video. Let me tell you, we have been talking about infrastructure more than 20 years. I don't know who this person is, who she is, what she is doing. She must not make such stupid statements. And you know, it is the Congress party we did that Tipu Jayanti. Was Tipu Jayanti necessary? Tipu is a
The
killer.
Tipu Jayanti was first started by the BJP, sir. Do your research. I may be a nobody, but at least I can
Tipu Jayanti
Google.
was started by Mr.
Tipu was a
Siddaramaiah.
killer. He has killed the
It
It was
That's
started
fine.
by Mr.
Okay,
Yediyurappa
killed the
okay,
when he
Konkanis,
was
okay.
killed the
Chief
mango
Minister.
Christians.
Okay,
Okay,
let's leave it there.
No,
I think
even now, Radhip,
let's all
Radhip, she has not
let's
answered.
all get the
question
civic
as
spirit.
to it's
Let's
Mr.
all get the.
Siddaramaiah and Congress who started
Okay,
all
I'm
this
not.
thing.
Today will not be a day where we will focus on religion. I hope those images
Yes,
of
focus
Bangalore
on government.
collapsing at least force people to realize that a city which promised to be a global city is a sinking city today. And that isn't a good message to send out at a time when you want to become, as I said, a city of the future. I thank my panelists. Karnataka elections are coming in a few months, so the religious temperatures will rise. Vote bank politics is what they call it. I thank all my guests for joining me.